You know, everybody wants the white picket fence. They want the new walls and the fresh painted coat on their house. But nobody wants the mess. Nobody wants the junk that comes with the house.
Yeah, so today we're talking about living the married life while your friends are living the single life.
Oh.
Let's talk about it. All right, babe, let's talk about it.
Man, let me tell you, it was something being the first of our friends, really, to be married.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and I, we came from our parents' house, we got together, and bam, we're married with kids. I mean, no college life. I really never dated.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was all about us. It was all about you.
Well, let's paint that picture. Listen, we came from our parents' house. I want to say, I feel like we came fresh out of high school and just entered into, so there really was no time for us enjoying being out of high school, you know, just being free from all that, living the adult life and having fun. Like none of that happened. We went right into
I mean,
being in a committed relationship.
And people try to tell us, "Hey, live your life," but we, us. We was in love. We had to be married. You know.
Yeah, we
didn't listen to nobody.
I think the prophecy also said it all.
Yeah,
you know,
it made us a little eager.
Yeah, because we knew that, you know, we were supposed to be married. So it was like, well, why waste time? I already know who my partner for life is going to be.
So much so that the most famous girl, the it girl in Hollywood at the time, was Halle Berry. And if Halle Berry would have came up to me,
mine was Wesley Snipes.
If she would have came up to me and been like, "Hey, Wendell, baby, come on," I'd have been like, "Nah, Holly, I need I need Nidra. Nah, Holly."
Yes.
And that's how it was, right? So we get married, come back from the honeymoon, and this is all I ever wanted, right? Come back from the honeymoon, and everybody else looked good too. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, where'd she come from? Where'd that come from? Wait a minute, she looked good too. It was just like, boom, reality hit. You know, Tina Turner just said, had a dope song. What's love got to do with it?
Huh.
Let me tell you right now, nothing. Love ain't got nothing to do with it. It take more than love.
Yes,
it take more than love. To build it up. Oh, sorry. Is that hard? Oh, I'm sorry. We getting off track.
Yes.
Getting off track.
But that's so true. You think love is all you need when you're getting married, but it takes more than that, because you're not going to necessarily feel in love when you're married.
No.
And I think too, you know, one of the things I want to say, you know, I think it was not, I don't want to paint this picture, babe, for everybody out there who's married or thinking about getting married, that marriage is just hell. I don't want I don't want to paint the picture like we didn't have some good times early on, because we did. I mean, while we had 3 kids, start bada bing, bada boom, so fast. Yeah, we were having a good time. So I don't want to paint the picture like it's all, you know, it's all bad, because no, there were some good moments. But I think for us, we recognize that one of the reasons why it was so hard was because we got married so young.
Yeah.
We got married so young. Then we had kids right away. We didn't even give ourselves a chance to enjoy just learning each other before throwing, you know, kids into the mix. And I will also say that I feel like, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like nobody got married as young as we did. We were the first in out of our community, our group of people that we knew, people we were doing life with, or the people that were around us. Nobody got married at 20.
Yeah, it was pretty fast.
Okay, so everybody around us was older. Nobody, we didn't see it modeled.
Right.
We didn't
Other than our great parents, but again,
but they weren't. Yeah, they were older.
Yeah, and I remember that all of our close friends were off to college and experiencing life and living it up. And, you know, I'm here with you. I got Similac on my shirt and baby's crying. And, you know, the reality is starting to hit. and it wasn't. I didn't feel the goosebumps anymore. And we have these kids now. Years have gone by. We have 3 kids, and it's like nobody want to keep your 3 kids. They might want to keep your 1 kid, but your 3 kids, they don't want to keep that. And so it's just you and me in the house all the time. And I love you, and I loved you then. But sometimes you get tired of looking that person in the face every single day. It's like, why are you still here?
Yeah, everybody needs a break. I think it's important for couples to have that time away from each other. I was watching somebody this week on Instagram talking about giving marital advice, and said every couple needs that time away. Everybody they need that distance. So they said what you do is when you get married, you take your spouse on this getaway, this honeymoon out of the country. Out of the country. Take her away from all of that. And he said, and when you get to 50 years of marriage, you go back and pick her up. So it's like he said that's the way to make it work. But it's now that was a little bit extreme. Yeah. But it is important to have that time away.
Yeah. And we didn't get that. Yeah. And we had screaming kids, and it was just, and still, we talked about our financial issues, and it was a struggle there. And so life was just, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun, and we were battling with that and dealing with that again.
So no money,
no college experience.
And the other thing I'll say too is you talked about the 3 kids. So at that point, we no longer could go out on date nights, just the 2 of us. It was you know what? I remember the highlight being going to the grocery store, and you used to hate
and still
taking all of the kids to the grocery store. But look, that was our outing, because we couldn't. There were no more date nights. So anytime that one of us needed a break, it was like either you went out and I stayed home, or I went out and you stayed home.
Who?
I'm just saying
but that never happened.
Right, I understand. And we'll get to something about that in a minute. But in order for us to get that time away, we had to go out separately. And the people that we were going out separately with, they weren't married.
Right.
And so that's where it was. We began to get that like
yeah. And all my guys, all my friends, all my boys, they were saints. They were Bible-wielding gentlemen, and they were great people. And they didn't like anyone. They shunned evil all the time. Make sure no light this
yes,
time.
Exactly.
But yeah.
But so it we didn't really get that time together. It was always it had to be with our friends who were single at the time. Yeah. And I remember, one of the things that you talked about, I'm sure all of the moms can probably relate, or maybe even the husbands right now can relate, when you're trying to go out and you got young kids. It's like, all right, babe, can you make sure you do this before you go? Make sure you do that before you go. Babe, make sure you change your diaper before you go. Babe, make sure you take the baby a bath before you go. Make sure, and by the time they do all that, they don't even want to go. That's the point.
That's game, though. That's what you did, though. I felt like,
because I ain't want to be stuck with. Look, I needed a break too, and I'm jealous that you get to go off and be with your friends, and I got to be stuck here with the kids.
It's just like living with your mama, man. Clean the room, wash the clothes, do all these chores before you get to go hang out with your friends. The same thing. I'm married. I gotta do the same thing.
Yeah,
and I thought you was being spiteful. I thought you was doing it. You know what? I remember when I had to go somewhere, I make sure I do everything before I can get ready to go. You still come up with something. I'm like, look, this is ridiculous.
Listen, look, you get a break, I get a break.
That's so petty.
Well, I'm just trying to say. So, let's talk about how we felt during that time. Some of the struggles that we felt when we felt like we needed that break, and there was no outlet.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
I think for me, it was starting to not be fun anymore. Yeah, because for me, I was always seeing what I didn't have and what I was lacking, instead of looking at what I had and being appreciative of what I had. I was always looking at what we didn't have, and it caused a strain. I think it was safe to say we got on each other's nerves, and we had the kids that we're dealing with, and it's like they were the focal point, they were everything, and we really weren't working on us. All of our time, energy was working on the kids, and for me, and I mean you too, we were just trying to figure out how to get our money up, how to get caught up on bills, and it was just life, and life became first. It was like kids, life, and then the marriage. We just get to it when
It's
we could. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't priority. And it started to affect us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, kind of going back to what we said, early on, was that, the money felt like it was always an issue for us.
Yes.
We did have times where we were good, and then there would be times it was bad. Times it were good, times it was bad. So I didn't feel very safe in our relationship. I felt like I was at this point, with us being married for quite some time. I felt like I was tired of always feeling like, are we going to be able to keep the lights on? Am I going to be able to have food for the kids? There was a lot of, you losing your job. So it's like, even though I felt like I had so much weight on my shoulders, and I know you, as a man, you were carrying more than I carry with that. But I just remember feeling like I had so much weight on my shoulders of trying to navigate mom and wife, and not even having the money for an outlet.
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't do anything that I wanted to do. It was like robbing Peter to pay Paul all the time.
And then when we did get money, wasn't responsible with it because we didn't know when we were going to get it again.
Yeah, right.
And so we would just do things and spend it and not be. I think we should have been more responsible. But
sure. Now we know that.
Yeah,
now. Now we know that. But at the time, it was like I developed a hustle mentality.
It would have been nice if we would have had someone like a mentor or someone that we could connect to be a part of. Not a part of our marriage, but just to help us get along, because it was like we neither one of us knew what we were doing, and we were doing the best we could, but we had no clue, and that's why I think it's good to have a mentor or someone in your life. It's something we always
and I think looking back at it, we did not have anyone that we both trusted to be able to share the very raw parts of our marriage.
Nobody wants to do that anymore.
But part of that too, let's touch on something real quick. And I don't know if you feel the same way I feel. Growing up, Wendell and I'm a PK, so I'm a pastor's kid. I grew up in the church. I mean, he wasn't a PK, but
I was there as much as she was.
Yeah, grew up in the church. And church at that time, you were going to hell if you had a sip of drink. You were going to hell for this. You were going to hell for that. I felt like the church was very judgmental.
It was, yeah.
And everybody came to church like their house was
in order,
was all put together.
Yeah.
And so I didn't feel safe.
That's good, yeah.
To say that we're going through this, because I felt like everybody was going to look at us like, oh, see, that's what you get. That's what you get for getting married young. That's what you get for having a baby out of wedlock. That's what you get. And so I never felt like I could go to anybody because I thought I was going to be judged. Because at that time, all of our friends were church friends. Yeah, they had their stuff and they were dealing with their own stuff.
Yeah.
And none of us went to each other about the stuff that we were going through because we were so afraid to show our mess.
Yeah. At that time, it was all about holiness. And if you want that, you want that. You want. So I understand.
I felt like, we couldn't measure up. We were never going to be good enough. And so, I want to speak to the couple who walks into a room and feels like they have to put on.
Yeah.
Like they have to act like everything is okay, when really, when you look at your spouse, you can't stand them. You don't want to go home with them. You don't sleep in the same room. You're at this point, you're living like your roommates.
Yeah. And let me tell you, as Anidra and I, we've talked to many couples. You'll be surprised. And the people that you see praising God on Sunday morning, they're going through the same mess you're going through. They just mask it better because marriage is hard. Marriage is a challenge. It's something we have to work at every single day. Nobody has it mastered. And your marriage isn't terrible. Your marriage is just normal. And you've got to learn how to endure and get through the mess that you're going through, which is why we share what we're sharing, because it let you know, hey, we experienced this and a lot worse, but God is faithful, and I'm telling you, you'll get through it. But
yeah. I think we need to normalize being honest about where we are. And I think I want to say the church world, because that's the world we were a part of, and we still are. But it needs to get to normalize being honest about where you are. And I will, we'll share. I didn't learn until it was too late to be honest before, not after. Like all of these things, I could never tell you that I was struggling. I couldn't tell you I was struggling with being a mom. I didn't tell you that I was struggling with you not working and losing your jobs, and I didn't tell you that there were times when I was just like, forget this, and I didn't tell you any of that. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell anybody else that I felt that. And so I just think about now, if we had that couple that we could have been raw with, to say this is what we're dealing with, that I had somebody that, that we both trust. Now, you shouldn't be bringing nobody that your spouse doesn't feel comfortable with. That's not going to get you nowhere. If you want to make it, you've got to find a couple that you both trust and that you feel like you both can be vulnerable with, that will tell you the ugly truth.
And on my side, we got married so young. We were children, and I wasn't used to grown women giving me attention. Grown women, because they weren't concerned about this ring at all.
That's attractive.
I mean, and I had grown women 4, 5, 6 years older than me, flirting and doing all these things. And I didn't have anybody in my life that I can talk to about that, because, I mean, my friends would have been like, try to give me a high five. That's not what I needed. So, yeah, I would have needed somebody older who was like, look, man, you don't need this, and here's why. So it was just a growing experience, and it was just something I never experienced in my life.
And you shouldn't. I remember my dad always said, he told us, when we were growing up, he was like, our curfew was 12 o'clock. Okay. And he said, there ain't nothing open past 12 but legs. Okay. And so, and he always said there is no need for a married man or a married woman to be out and about living the single. Don't even tempt yourself with that.
Because you're not strong enough.
Yes.
You think you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even when I did go out, listen, I would be like, if they wanted to go to the club, I would go to, our club won't the club like nowadays, but still it was a club then. And we would go out and I love to dance. He doesn't love to dance. I can get down. Okay. But he didn't like to do that. And so I was doing something that I enjoyed, but that we didn't enjoy together. And then being out in that scene, it was like, I wish I could do this. You start to have that shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And that's why it's not, don't even put yourself in the place to be tempted.
And let me tell you, marriage counseling is good. We had that, but not having someone to talk to, like a mentor, because you can learn, you can know what to do and what not to do. Like, I know that I shouldn't do X, Y, and Z, but I ain't care. Basically saying is, like, for instance, I know that I shouldn't blame you for stuff or say, you make me sick and you always do that. I know you're not supposed to say those trigger words.
And we'll talk about that on another episode.
But we'll say it anyway because we're mad and we don't care. Same thing. And so, like, club situation, we knew good and well that that's not what we should be doing, but still we're doing it.
And like I said, we didn't have anybody checking us on that. And you said we had the couple who married us, but I felt like they only saw one side of us.
And they're our parents' age.
Yeah, and our parents' friends.
So I love y'all if y'all have, but
and I will say that too. even as we've been married for a longer period of time, and there would be things I'm like, babe, we need somebody else to help us with this. And I would say, I think we should do marriage counseling. You would shut that down.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the couple? Because it could be the woman, but most of the time it's the man who feel like they don't want to do the counseling. You're going to put my business out there and... Okay, come on, normalizing it.
All right, well, here. If you're going to tell the truth. I think it wasn't that. You said we needed counseling because we don't communicate well. That's what you were saying at the time. And I thought we communicated fine. So it was a waste of time and space for me. That's why I didn't want to do the counseling, because I didn't think it was a need for it. I'm good. I mean, I didn't understand why that was so important to you, because we were good at the time. I thought, anyway.
But if it wasn't good to me,
right. Well, hey, man, I should have went.
Yeah, we should have, for sure. And so, just our advice to you is, don't care about what everybody thinks. Don't care about the number one thing that I think, when we are dealing with something, the enemy likes to make us think that we are the only one dealing with it. Oh, and people are going to judge you. And like you said earlier, 9 times out of 10, somebody else has faced the same issues. So don't not do something. Don't not work on your marriage because you feel like you don't want anybody else to know your business. Because it's like getting a car and not doing the maintenance on it, not ever getting the oil change, not ever getting your tires rotated. I mean, at some point you keep driving that car,
it's gonna break down on you.
There you go. And you're gonna have to lift your hood for somebody in order to fix it. Somebody else
gonna lift it. Hello.
You know
what I'm saying?
Okay. So I'm just saying, sooner or later, and whether you want people to know what's going on or not, they're going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
Because of the fruit. So just, don't normalize let's normalize being honest about our mess. And that's why we're talking about the mess, because we want you to know there is nothing that you can face that, that we probably haven't. And the money issue, that is the number one reason for divorce.
Yes.
Well, communication and money problems. And I feel like as we continue on with this, you're going to see that we have more issues than just that. And that's why we keep saying the mess, because we want you to know that you can make it through the mess if you have the tools that you need. And even we didn't have all the tools, but one of the things that you always talked about is the only reason why we made it was because we put Jesus at the center of our marriage. Now, we ain't trying to throw the Bible at you. We ain't trying to preach at you in any way. But I'm telling you, the moment that you try to do this in your own strength, you will fail every single time. And I think if you put Jesus at the center of it, there is nothing that he can't do. Yeah. And we're a living witness.
Yeah. And I think the common theme is not being embarrassed and not being ashamed. Let me say, it's nothing more important than this. I don't care what I got to do. I don't care who know. I don't care. I've never been one to care about what people think anyway. So I'm not going to start now when it comes to this marriage. And so, like you were saying, working on your marriage. We've been married, 26 years. It'll be 27 in June. And we still go to marriage conferences. We still do things because, just like you work on, you'll never be an expert at this thing. You'll be great
always
at it,
growing.
But you're always growing because it's always changing and she's always changing.
And so one of the things that and this is not a plug, this is real life. We are certified marriage mentors. We mentor couples all the time. If we can be a blessing to you, even if we don't know you, you don't have to worry about paying us anything. This is the reason why we're doing this podcast is because we want you to see the potential in your relationship, and we want you to see that you can make it through, and we want to support you. And so if we can support you in that way, we would love to.
There is nothing that we haven't heard or haven't seen, and we have seen success stories, and so
we are a success
we
story.
are a living success story,
and we are going to continue to share the mess, and you've only seen a glimpse.
Yeah.
So get ready as we take you on the journey of our mess, and we are going to share how God got us through it. And so we want you to make sure you share, like, subscribe. And we will see you on the next episode. Peace.